Good morning, guys. Patch coming at you. Saturday, November the 23rd, just coming up to 11 a.m. Back out in the garage on the TR250 project this morning. And we're just going to do a little bit more work on the bonnet. We're going to weld up a few little cuts that we made in the bonnet back here. And I think we'll flip it over and I'll weld up those little holes that were created by those screws that I removed that were holding some sort of cable. So we'll fill those and grind those down just to say that we've done that. And then we'll probably move on to another bit of the car. Maybe this area up here where this is looking a little bit more worse for wear, kind of mangled and bent. So we may replace this area with an area from a piece that I have over there laying against the side of the car. But we will get to that in a little bit. So let me finish up the bonnet first and then we'll move on from there. Okay, we've got all those screw holes welded shut. So we're just going to go ahead and grind those down. In the meantime, I've been having a look at this structural piece here on the bonnet and the amount of rust that's underneath it on both the back side and the front side. And I'm thinking that the best course of action for me would be to remove this inner structure entirely from the bonnet in order to clean the bottom or the base metal up better than I could if I was just going to go and sandblast or soda blast it, because I got a lot of sort of rust up underneath this panel. It does not sit flush, it actually sits proud of it, and it's got this, remember this horsehair or felt piece that keeps it from rattling against the top of the bonnet. So I may get into a bit of a kettle of worms here, but I'm thinking of removing this piece, but we'll see. I might do a little wire brushing to see how accessible the welds are first, and then maybe we'll take it from there. In the meantime, while I'm thinking about that, I'll go ahead and I'll grind down these little welded areas that I did. Alright guys, not a job that I thought I would be doing, but I think based on what I see, it's probably the right thing to do. I'm hoping I still think that after I start drilling out all these spot welds along here. There's numerous spot welds to drill out in order to get this piece off successfully, and I'm sure there will be quite a bit of a repair afterwards to get it back installed correctly, but I think it's something I need to do nonetheless. So got some drill bits ready to go, extra battery ready to go, so I guess we'll just take our time, be patient, and drill out some spot welds. Okay, the spot welds have been drilled, so we've got our hammer and selection of chisel screwdrivers and cold chisels to split that seam. I do have a seam splitting tool, but I think it's going to be a little too broad for this area, so I need a little bit finer tool to split this seam without distorting the bonnet. So we'll just be careful and see how we do here. Well, it definitely wasn't coming off without a fight. Anyway, we've got the one side detached. So we'll move around to the other side. I don't know how long this took me, probably about 45 minutes or so. So it's quite a test of patience getting all these spot welds drilled out. They are really, really in there. Had quite a difficulty here where there was multiple spot welds stacked up. Anyway, we'll move to the other side. So we've got the other side to contend with. We have the nose to contend with, and then we've got a couple of spot welds at the back here. We're probably going to keep this structural bar intact and just remove the spot welds either from up here and slide it out. Probably actually easier to do it from the back and then just lift the whole unit up, but we'll see. Whatever's easiest we're going to do. Okay, we'll just release this stiffener bar, and I'll pull that foam out so you can, or that horsehair, whatever you want to call it, felt, from underneath. So there it is. You can actually see a fair amount of surface rust under there. It'd probably be good to clean that up. So I think we'll take this bar off entirely as opposed to leaving it sit here. So I got a couple more spot welds to drill out back here. Not going to be able to really find them. I'm going to have to go a little blind. But we'll make a couple holes back there and we'll chisel that off. Okay, the support piece is now removed. So there we go. Needs a little repair back up there, but no big deal. And we took the little piece of felt that was underneath the leading edge or the rear edge of the hood here. So we'll continue on to work on the nose now. And we'll drill out some spot welds here to release this piece. and then we'll finish up on the other side, and we'll be able to lift this whole structural piece out, hopefully, in one piece. All right, let's see if we can get this off. Nothing more satisfying than pop rivets popping, or spot welds popping. All right, there it is. Incidentally, I'm glad I took that center structure off. You can see how rusty it is. I think you can see how rusty it is on the inside. So we'll clean that up. That needs a good cleanup as well. Hopefully you can see that. I'll take you off the tripod and I'll give you a better look. All right. So yeah, I'm glad I took that off. It was a lot of work to get it off, and it'll be a lot of work to get it back on. A lot of repairs I got to do now on the flanges, but I'm used to that. And obviously being able to get underneath of it is a huge bonus. These are the remainders of the felt on this side. So I wanted to be able to get to this surface rust here and up under here. So I should be able to clean that area much, much better, and in here, without obviously that support on there. See, it's a lot easier to work on it as far as sanding this out with a DA. I'm probably going to have to blast the interior of this with a sandblaster, but other than that, I think I can get to most areas. So yeah, so it's quite a bit of work to get that out. And clean up the rust down here in these areas as well. So it's quite a bit of work to get it out, but I think probably valuable. I am not going to attempt to do this one at the rear. It doesn't look too bad underneath from what I can see. So I'm going to leave that structure in place. I'm not that brave or that stupid. So anyway, we'll take a break and we'll come back out and we'll figure out what the next steps are going to be. Alright, so what I've decided to do next is just to clean up the inside of this bonnet a little bit. It's got a little bit of rubberized undercoating here. So I've got the heat gun and my scraper standing by. So we're going to remove that as best we can. Then we're going to get the DEA out, and probably just with an 80 grit disc, we're just going to get rid of this surface rust on the inside here. And I think we're going to stop there. The reason I'm going to stop there is because this needs to be blasted. And it will not fit in my cabinet. I don't have any blasting media. I potentially could do it outside somehow and figure out how to reclaim the media, or I could take it somewhere. So I've got to decide what I want to do with this piece. And for that matter, the other little structural piece there has got to be blasted on the inside as well. So I think what I'll do, like I said, is just clean this up the best I can in the areas that need it most. And then I'll probably just put a real quick mist coat of primer on there to keep it from flash rusting until we can get back to it. This is probably going to take me a little while to get this piece done. I am traveling, I think, for the next 4 to 5 weeks, so I'm not home a lot. So that'll have to wait probably till the new year. Anyway, let's clean up what we can. All right, guys, we hit it with the DA with a 40 grit disc, and also with the couple of different wire brushes. And it definitely could use a media blast and some rust converter. But like I said, we won't go too far on this. I think we'll leave it for now, and we'll come back to it when I get a chance to get that blasted. And maybe we'll do this interior of the hood at the same time. We'll probably get it soda blasted. Got to be careful not to warp this this metal. We either soda blast it or do a very low pressure glass blast on it. and we should be okay. So I think that's it for this for now. We'll probably move on to another area. I hate not being able to finish something, but we'll have to come back to it another day, unfortunately. So let's put it aside for now and put it on the back burner. And before I put it away, I figured I'd just do a couple quick coats of spray-on rust converter. So I've got the first coat on, starting to turn that purpley black, and we'll do another wet coat before we call this done for now. Alright guys, it's about 7:45 p.m. and we're on to our next project. Just have the hockey game on out in the garage, so we'll just have that on the background when we do a little bit more work on the car tonight. As I'd mentioned, this area here has got a bit of a twist to it, and it's also got some waves to it. If you look at it from this direction, maybe, that'll sort of help you out. So it's kind of bent back. It's also bent right to left, so it's got a bit of an S in it. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this section out. I've tried to hammer and dolly it without too much success because it's got that twist in it. So I was thinking of just cutting it out and grafting in another piece. I actually have another perfect piece I can graft in there. Let me just grab this on the right end up. So here is that piece in question on this Valence from another car. So I think what we'll do is we'll just, like I said, cut and graft this in and then grind it out. You'll never probably know the difference. Alright, I think we're going to do that. Alright guys, here's the section that we removed. I decided to go a little longer than I first thought I would, but that's going to probably work there. I've got the new section trimmed out. Let me see if I can fit this in here real quick. So it's going to look something like this. So that looks a lot better, a lot straighter. It's got the proper curve to it. So I'll tack this in, we'll get her lined up and we'll tack it in. And then we'll give her a quick check over and then weld it up solid. Grind her down. Hey, good morning guys, Tush coming at you. It's Sunday, November 24th, just come up to 11 a.m. And I'm sorry I didn't finish last night. Kind of left you hanging. Les came by and wanted a cup of tea and wanted to watch the rest of the hockey game inside, so that's what I did. So it came out this morning and we finished up just grinding this repair down. I think it looks good. I don't think you'll be able to really tell that I grafted a piece in there. I'm happy with that. Looks okay on the inside. And it looks much better than what was there. So we'll call that another job done. So I'll move on to the next area. And I think what I'm going to do now is, I've been meaning to do this for a little while as well. There's a ton of little holes in the engine bay that shouldn't be here, as far as I know. Like these holes here, for example. They shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be there. I think that should be there. I don't think these three holes should be there. I think those were punched in by the previous owner, who knows, maybe for a coil or something like that, aftermarket coil. There's a couple down here that should be here. This is for the overflow bottle. I know this is for the commission number tag up here for the rivets. So there are holes I know that should be there, and there are a lot more holes that shouldn't be there as far as I know. So I think what we'll do is we'll endeavor to weld those shut while I can, as opposed to putting rubber plugs in. But anyway, we'll make an inventory of what's there, and like I said, we'll figure out what should be there and what shouldn't be there, and we'll fix that up. Alright, the holes are filled that I think need to be filled. One over here. Those two over there, I'm going to leave temporarily. Not sure if they need to be filled or not. I think they do, but I'm going to check. And the other thing I need to check on are these holes here. So I know for sure I need, I believe, 2 top holes and a bottom hole, and this is for the bracket that holds the washer bottle. I think I need 1 hole for the washer bottle feed tube to come through, and I think there's a little electrical cable that comes through, but I think I have a couple extra holes there, so got to figure out what's going on there. I also see I have a couple holes here. I know there's a solenoid that goes on here, but I believe the solenoid goes down here somewhere, which I don't see any marks for, so and there's a hole back there. Anyway, it's a bit of a mystery, this car. So we'll figure that out. I also see a hole down here. Anyway, too many holes to count them all. We'll be back. All right, just coming up to 1:30, and I took a bit of a break to post a few pictures to one of the car forums I frequent of this area here and this area here to figure out which of these holes should be there and which holes shouldn't be. So I'm waiting for a response on those holes before I weld them up. So I need to figure out what else I'm going to work on. So let me have a look around and we'll figure out what we're going to do next. One thing I wanted to do was remove this stock Bonnet prop rod holder. So we'll do that. And then I've got a bunch of small repairs. For example, I've got some hood buffer holes here, but I've got an extra set. I don't know if you can see those there. So I'm probably going to clean those up. A few other little holes here and there. So I think what I'll do is nothing too exciting. I'll just go around and make a few repairs in here just to make things look a little bit better. I've got a little damage to the gutter over on this side that needs to be repaired. Some poor welding here, I think, by me. So there's a little bit of a hole here that I've got to repair and do some better grinding. Got a bit of a crimp over here that needs to be hammered and dollied out. Got a little bit of a hole here. So a bunch of little repair areas like that need to be sorted out. So I think what we'll do is we'll just spend some time and do that. I don't think I'm going to video much of it. I'll go ahead and do it and then I'll just bring you back. Well, brackets out, put up a bit of a fight. Always amazed at the amount of rust at the bottom of these body fixing, how the water sort of creeps in around there and under. Anyway, we ended up having to cut a piece of metal out of the inner fender, and we're just about to create a patch and weld that in, so I thought I'd give you a quick shot of that. So we'll go ahead and do that. We've got our old piece here we'll make the template from, and like I said, we'll just weld that in, grind it down, and call that good, and move on to those other little holes. Alright guys, we have all those little welding repairs done along the side flange. The two holes on the bulkhead. We got the patch done on the wheel well where the bracket for the hood used to be for the prop rod. So those are all looking okay. Got a little bit more grinding to do, but that's not too bad. I think we'll wander in and we'll check the forums and see if I can figure out which holes need to be welded up. I'd like to finish this area if possible, as far as the welding is concerned at least. And then we'll come back out. Okay, thanks to Gary who responded on one of the forums. I now know that 1, 2, 3 are not stock locations, so those will get welded up. And those apparently are stock. They have something to do with, I think, the UK PI cars, the petrol injection cars, so those will stay. And apparently they get plugs put in them. So we'll fix those things up. And I think that will be it for today. I'm probably going to make some dinner tonight, so getting close to dinner time, so we'll weld those things up and we'll call it a day. Alrighty, one more update before I call it a night. So we've got those holes all filled and ground down, so we're only left with what we need over there, and as we mentioned, those holes are okay over there, so we're good to go there. So I think we're going to call it a night here. It's Sunday night, so I've got to get ready for work tomorrow, and I want to make myself a nice dinner tonight, so we'll call it a little bit early, and hopefully we'll get out here tomorrow and we'll pick up where we left off. Anyway, thanks as always for watching and commenting, and we'll talk to you later.